Hi, it's Sam. In this video, we're going to be looking at High Roller, which is my chance-based multi-effect device. This is the older sibling of Low Roller, my free audio device, which shares some of the same effects, but High Roller has more effects and a couple other parameters that Low Roller lacks. So let's take a look at what you can do with High Roller. High Roller is only active when the transport is on, and you use this clock parameter here to set how often there will be a chance that one of the active effects will be triggered. So the clock and chance together will tell you how often an effect might be triggered and what the chance is that it would be triggered. It also sets the duration of that effect. So if it's on times 2 right now, it would be 8 notes. And so every 8th note is a 50% chance that one of the active effects will be triggered and will last for an 8th note as well. You can turn on and off the different effects by clicking on the effect name or the toggle next to the effect name, and then it will only choose from the active effects. Let's take a look at each of the effects and go over what they do, starting with repeat. So I'm going to turn the rest of the effects off. So repeat is just going to repeat the incoming audio at the number of times that is displayed in this number box. So for example, if it's on 8th notes, it'll divide the 8th note into 4 parts, repeat it that many times. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay. You can now go to reverse. So reverse is going to reverse the incoming audio. Let me make this a little bit slower. Slice is going to choose a random slice of the incoming audio and play that back. So you might have noticed that it didn't play back immediately when I started the transport. And that's because of the way that this device works. Because it can be used live with the audio playing live, it doesn't require loading an audio file. I'm using a buffer, recording to a buffer, and sometimes the effect might be reading from the buffer in a place where it hasn't been recorded to yet. That's really only relevant when the device is first starting up, when you're first starting the transport. So at those times, you might notice that it will read from a place in the buffer that hasn't been recorded to yet. That is the limitation of this device, but I think the trade-off in being able to use it live is worth that limitation. Okay, next let's look at speed. This will speed up or slow down the audio. You can influence the chance that it's going to speed up or slow down with this number box. 100% will always speed up. Negative 100% always slow down. Pitch, we'll change the pitch of the audio. And that goes from an octave below to an octave above the original pitch. Soft clip adds soft clipping to the audio from 0 to 100%, with 100% being very distorted. Filter is a resonant bandpass filter, and you can change both the resonance and the cutoff. Degrade is downsampling. And reverb is reverb. This is going to be the wet, dry control, the percentage here. They can also change the size and damping. Okay, so there's also a variance control here. And what this does is it looks at the current value for each effect. This is relevant for repeat, pitch, soft clip, filter, degrade, and reverb. And it's going to vary, possibly vary from that set value depending on what you set variance to. So for example, at 100%, with repeat at 4, there's a chance it'll pick from 1 to 8 repeats. And this is not applied to the resonance value or the size and dampening of reverb, filter. Those are not going to be relevant, neither to the speed setting here, but everything else it will be applied to. So let me just turn off all the effects so we can just see what it does with repeat. You'll see that it picked a different value every time that repeat was triggered with the variance at 100%. It can also affect the volume of the wet signal with this volume dial here, and this will not impact the dry signal. So if you need to change the balance of the wet and dry signal, you can do that with this. And you can also turn windowing of the signal on and off. This is not really obvious when you're doing something like drums, but if you're using something like a pad, then this will be very much more noticeable. The clicks and pops from when it goes from the dry signal to the wet signal and back again are smoothed out with the windowing, but if you want that effect, then you can turn the windowing off. And there are 3 different output modes. The first is mix, which will mix the wet and dry signal. So whenever an effect is triggered, it will continue to play the dry signal as well as the wet signal. Insert is the default mode, and that's going to mute the dry signal whenever an effect is triggered. And then gate, which will only play back the effects when they're triggered and will never play the dry signal. So I hope you find High Roller interesting and inspirational to use in your own projects. I've been working on it for a long time. I'm really excited to get it out there. You can find a download link in the description. And until next time, class is dismissed.